Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. My name is Maryam Al-Dabbagh, and I'm one of the co-authors of the new paper from the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research on gender equity in the advent of Islam. My co-authors on this paper are Ustad Ruhi Tahir, Sheikh Muhammad al-Shinawi, and Sheikh Omar Sulaiman, and I wanted to thank each one of them specifically, as well as everyone who helped contribute to the paper with their thoughts and comments and feedback. It was such a pleasure working alongside you all, and Jazakumullah khairan for all of your amazing work. Now, what this paper discusses is the transformation in the regard and treatment of women from pre-Islamic society in Arabia to after the advent of the Prophet ﷺ. And we look at this transformation through examining it in three main areas. The first is in the public sphere, so how women are looked at and treated on the societal level, economically speaking, for example. The second is on the private sphere, so how women are treated within their families in their roles as mothers or wives or daughters. And finally, we look at how Islam elevated the spiritual status of women. And we do this through looking at some of the very many incredible female role models that have been held up as examples for both Muslim men and women throughout Islamic history. We also look at some of the verses from the Quran that are relevant on this topic through an appendix that we've placed at the end. Now, why we feel this topic is so important at this relevant time is because although a lot of Muslims tend to have a general idea of the fact that, Islam revolutionized the treatment of women for its time, a lot of instances we don't really have a very clear picture of what that actually looked like. So what we thought we could do through this paper was really give specific, concrete examples of a kind of before and after picture. And one such instance that people likely be familiar with is the fact that, unfortunately, in pre-Islamic society, baby girls would often be buried alive after their birth. And this is just a reflection of the lack of inherent value that society saw in women, because either they weren't economically productive, or they could bring shame upon the family, or any other abysmal factors. Of course, this practice is roundly condemned in the Quran, and the greatest contrast to it we see is in the treatment of the Prophet ﷺ to his beloved daughter Fatima. So it's just such an incredible contrast that's very much worth highlighting. Another lesser known instance is when the Prophet ﷺ actually, when women asked to be given time to learn from him, specifically just a group of women, he specifically set aside time for them to be able to come and learn directly from him. And the incredible thing about this is that not only does it contrast the lack of worth and value with which women are treated in pre-Islamic Arabian society, but it also is quite an astute comment on, the unfortunate contrast that we see in many scholarly spaces today and their treatment of women. We also actually use as a framing device the change in the way that Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anh saw women. So we definitely try to give these very vivid examples so that our basic thesis comes across. And this is a narrative that's not coming out of nowhere. This is all in the original sources. We made sure that we used traditional Islamic sources so that we'd, avoid any questions of whitewashing or trying to push a certain agenda or anything like that. What we basically do is use the narrative that's in the sources themselves, which is basically that pre-Islamic Arabia was not exactly an ideal society to be in for either men or women. And the fact that with the coming of the Prophet ﷺ, alhamdulillah, he was able to alleviate many of the injustices that plagued both genders. So, in the course of this research, we definitely came up against the boundaries of the space that we had to write this paper in. We lightly touch upon many different issues in this paper that could easily be expanded into papers of their own. And Yaqeen researchers are actually looking into some of these issues to write about them, so stay tuned with that. In the end, we just hope, inshallah, this paper is beneficial to whoever reads it. We look forward to hearing your feedback. If you have any resources to share or comments, feel free to either leave a comment here or get in touch with us through Yaqeen. Again, we really look forward to hearing what you guys think. And thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoy the paper. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.